Let's look at some of the things that different pockets of Australia. I'll keep reverting back to it. We got a lot of Australian supporters. Big shout out to y'all. I'll be looking at my numbers and one of my biggest, like in terms of countries outside the U.S. Some of these supporters are like from Australia. I love it. I love it. So we got to cover that hellhole, a shithole that you guys are living in right now. Let's listen to what this lady had to say about some things that are happening out there in old Australia, New South Wales. That is. Let's check it out.
As the Minister said, tragically today we announced the deaths of 7 people who have lost their lives to COVID-19, 4 women and 3 men. 1 person was in their 40s, 1 person in their 50s, 2 people in their 70s, 2 people in their 80s, and 1 person who was in their 90s. All of those individuals had underlying health conditions. 1 person was not vaccinated, 3 people had received 1 dose of a COVID vaccine, and 3 people had received 2 doses of a COVID vaccine.
So what she just said was a roundabout way of only 1 of them were not vaccinated. She didn't say which age that one was. Only 1 of them weren't vaccinated of the ones that had died. Basically, is what that was a roundabout way of her saying that. That is basically it. So of course she mentions the underlying health issues, which is kind of funny how they got to preface that when they're trying to set the scene for, hey, it's not as bad. It's almost like there were other people that were saying that as well, looking at underlying health issues and people with it. I also think it's just so bizarre when you start getting, you look at like the majority of the people that she's mentioning were old as shit. She's talking about 70s, 80s, and even a 90-year-old. I think at that point, you die of anything at 90, you've probably died of natural causes because you've lived a fucking long life beyond the average person. For the most part. Now, that doesn't mean that the death's any less tragic. My grandma died at 90, and that was the fucking last time I ever cried. But seriously, you die of old age, and that's a thing. Nonetheless, according to their own numbers and how they're classifying it, they're saying that of those deaths, only 1 of them were unvaccinated. That's not my opinion right there. That's what they said. I'm just telling you what they said. There's another one that I want you guys to check out as well while we're on the subject of old Australia. Let's take a look at this. It's coming out of Victoria. And let's listen to what this guy had to say about the situation.
Of the people who were in hospital yesterday, 78% were vaccinated and 17 were partially vaccinated.
Now, we had this discussion before. I'm not the best at math, but 78 plus, what did he say, 17? So have at least received 1 shot is what he's explaining to of all of the hospitalizations that he's referring to in Victoria. That's a lot of, that's almost exclusively the people that are being hospitalized out there in Victoria for this. According to him, this is your beloved public health experts who do nothing but pontificate on the TV and let you guys know on what is going on. But the vast majority of people, according to him, that was vaccinated on this day were at least partially, at least received some vaccination. Most of them obviously being fully vaccinated, as he's saying. Now, this isn't unlike things and unlike any stories that we haven't seen. We certainly have seen cases like Singapore and Maine and places with, semi-high vaccination rates, even mandates in the case of Singapore with masks and stuff. And despite all of that, they're reaching near or above in Singapore's case, the case rate of what they had at the peak of this last year. Now, that should be alarming, and I know it is alarming, especially for you guys that were coerced into getting it. It kind of can put you at like on edge, and I believe that misery loves company, and this is why a lot of these people are so aggressive against people that did not get vaccinated. Because look, if you have a bunch of people that are near you that are doing the same thing, it makes you feel less bad about doing something that may be a mistake. That's just human conditioning right there. So you not being a part of their little club here, they see you as a threat and they see you as an enemy. And I think some of it's envious, if we're going to be completely honest. But what's going on in Victoria, what's going on in Australia, what's going on in a lot of these places that are pushing these, not just pushing them, demanding with passports and other sort of stuff. You're seeing them still have some issues. Now they've had to concede that, well, like they said before, big shout out to Dr. Rochelle Walensky of the CDC, y'all's the beloved director that y'all love so much. She came out in April. She talking about, well, people get the vaccine, they're not getting COVID and they're not spreading it. And until they were. Australia is a shithole right now, but Australia is also a living example of what we can look at in places that haven't at least got to that point of where a lot of the authoritarian left and the fearmongers are actually trying to push us towards. And as long as you have a complacent populace, well, they'll be able to pull that off. In fact, it's the only way that they can pull that off. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.